What happens when the person you trust most becomes the source of your deepest nightmare? Tonight, on The Nightmare States, we unravel a chilling true story from Royal Palm Beach, Florida. A story of love twisted into horror, and a daughter's descent into unimaginable darkness. A series of strange messages, a desperate call for help, and a crime scene so brutal, it defies belief. This is the horrifying case of Camille Balla and the night her mother's life was shattered forever. Brace yourself, because some nightmares are all too real. Late into the night of March 16, 2018, a quiet neighborhood in Royal Palm Beach, Florida, became the scene of a horrifying nightmare that would shake the community and haunt law enforcement for years to come. It all began with a series of strange, cryptic text messages sent by a young woman named Camille Balla. What started as eerie digital breadcrumbs would soon unravel into a brutal and gruesome discovery. One of the most savage crime scenes imaginable, hidden behind the closed doors of a family home. The first signs of trouble appeared around 10:08 p.m. Camille sent a simple angel emoji to her FedEx manager, Kenneth. But the messages that followed were anything but ordinary. At 10:24, Camille wrote, "I got my big wings now. I got a story you can tell for centuries." Those words hung ominously in the air, like a forewarning from a fractured mind. Shortly after, she sent a photo depicting a man flipping the middle finger at a police cruiser, captioned, "There is only one." As if speaking in a secret code, Camille continued with cryptic requests. "I need to sleep. Can you tell the boys to keep it down up there? I need to rest." Along with these words came a helicopter emoji, an enigmatic symbol no one could decipher. Then came a photo of 3 golden statues accompanied by the phrase, "My pendant." Following that was another strange message, "Bring it to me by order of King Osakan 22, paired with a picture of a city skyline crowned by a pyramid. Camille's final text to Kenneth that night was chilling. "Mom doesn't believe me, King. Can you believe her?" Kenneth would later describe the messages as unsettling, strange transmissions that felt like attempts at communication from a mind slipping into chaos. He was left wondering what Camille was trying to convey, a puzzle with pieces that refused to fit. But Kenneth was not the only one receiving these bizarre messages. Camille had sent similar texts to another manager at FedEx that same night, hinting at a growing distress that no one yet understood. Then, shortly after 1 a.m., Camille reached out to a coworker named Julio. Julio was asleep when he received the call. Camille's voice was frantic, panicked, trembling with fear. She pleaded, "Can you come over? I need somebody to talk to." When Julio arrived at Camille's house, he found her outside, mumbling incoherently. She spoke about being off her medications and claimed that her marijuana had been laced with something dangerous. Then, in a terrifying confession, she admitted, "I killed my mom." Those words sent a cold shiver down Julio's spine, and without hesitation, he called 911. When deputies from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office arrived, they found Camille sitting on the sidewalk, her hands dripping with fresh blood. Calm but visibly shaken, she told the officers, "The drugs made me do it." But as they placed her in handcuffs and prepared to take her away, Camille's fragile composure shattered. She began chanting, over and over, a chilling mantra, "I'm the devil. I killed her. I'm the devil." Inside the home, the police stepped into a nightmare. Blood spattered everywhere, on floors, walls, ceilings, a trail of violence stretching from the entrance through the kitchen, into the laundry room, and culminating in the garage, where the full horror awaited. There, sprawled across the floor, lay the mutilated body of Francisco Balla, Camille's mother. This is one of the most harrowing and disturbing cases ever. Her face was smashed beyond recognition. A deep, jagged cut marked her right arm, and a long, savage gash ran down the center of her chest. The skin of her forehead had been peeled back, revealing the bare skull beneath. Most horrifying of all, her eyes had been cruelly carved out, removed from their sockets and placed with macabre precision atop a Little Caesars pizza box, aligned eerily with the cartoon mascot's eyes printed on the box. It was a sick, twisted mockery, a final, haunting signature left by the perpetrator. Police noticed that the house was rigged with security cameras both inside and out, but when they checked the footage, they found the DVR had been unplugged. Fresh blood stains surrounding the outlet suggested this had been done moments before the officers arrived, a desperate attempt to erase evidence and conceal the truth. Camille told the authorities she believed someone had laced her marijuana with PCP or a synthetic drug called flakka, substances notorious for causing hallucinations and violent behavior. At the hospital, Camille's behavior was erratic and disturbing. She alternated between moments of sorrowful remorse and terrifying, violent outbursts, whispering repeatedly, "I'm a murderer. I'm the devil." She begged for forgiveness, then screamed about her actions, trapped in a nightmare of her own making. The autopsy painted a gruesome picture. Francisco's cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head combined with strangulation. Her facial bones were fractured, several teeth were cracked and knocked loose, and her right eye socket was shattered. Investigators also found traces of marijuana pushed deep into her brain, a chilling and bizarre detail that only deepened the mystery. Even more puzzling, a set of keys was discovered hidden in an unexpected and unsettling location, further confounding investigators. Neighbors and co-workers recalled Camille's earlier mentions of flakka, describing it as a dangerous, designer drug that could trigger severe hallucinations and violent aggression. It was clear Camille's mental state was deteriorating, caught in a spiral fueled by substance abuse and psychological torment. Inside the garage, police uncovered a bloodied, handwritten note. Its poetic and cryptic words read, "The gates to heaven are in your eyes. The stairway to heaven at your legs. I found nirvana when you tasted the fruit. I was blinded by love at first sight." Was it a delusional confession? A twisted declaration of love and loss? The meaning remained shrouded in darkness. The relationship between Camille and her mother had been fraught with tension for months, strained by drug abuse and mounting mental health issues. Friends described a daughter fighting unseen battles and a mother struggling to hold her family together. One coworker explained, "Camille was battling addiction, and her mom tried to help, but Camille often didn't want to come home. She was fighting demons we couldn't see." As Camille faced the crushing weight of her actions, her pleas for mercy became desperate. "I can't look at myself. I can't live with what I did. Please, knock me out. Get it out of me," she begged, trapped in a torment of guilt and self-loathing. Initially charged with first-degree murder, Camille eventually pled guilty to manslaughter with a weapon in November 2023. She was sentenced to 15 years in prison, receiving credit for time served. Francisco Monterobaya was 55 years old, a life extinguished in a night of unthinkable horror. This case stands as a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences when addiction, mental illness, and violence collide behind closed doors. It is a tragic story that leaves us questioning how a daughter could descend into such darkness and commit an act so savage against the one person who loved her most. Behind every cryptic text and fractured mind lies a human story, full of pain, confusion, and loss. And sometimes, that story ends in a nightmare we struggle to comprehend. A tour on the nightmare states. The brutal murder of Francisco Monterobaya by her own daughter Camille reveals a chilling descent into madness fueled by addiction and mental illness. The gruesome details, the mutilation, the missing eyes placed atop a pizza box, paint a nightmarish scene that stays with you long after the story ends. This case is a stark reminder of how darkness can lurk behind closed doors, turning love into horror. It's a deeply unsettling, unforgettable tragedy that defines the very essence of this channel's haunting content. This is one of the most harrowing and disturbing cases ever featured on the Nightmare States. The brutal murder of Francisco Monterobaya by her own daughter Camille reveals a chilling descent into madness fueled by addiction and mental illness. The gruesome details, the mutilation, the missing eyes placed atop a pizza box, paint a nightmarish scene that stays with you long after the story ends. This case is a stark reminder of how darkness can lurk behind closed doors, turning love into horror. It's a deeply unsettling, unforgettable tragedy that defines the very essence of this channel's haunting content.